Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
You got a mobile version. It's a long story, but it involves butterflies, a yoga mat, and a 5-year-old that was a little slower than normal.
Okay.
There you go.
Not sure where the other two things come in, but all right. We'll leave it at that. I'm going to avoid all follow-up questions. Man, sounds like you had a good weekend.
Give me a second. I was having a couple issues there. Perfect. Now we're talking. So Monday, here we are talking about how to get more listings when you get a listing. That's pretty confident talking about how we're all going to get some listings this week too, right?
Yeah. And honestly, obviously listings are the goal. I think my point of this, what I want everyone to get out of today is whether it's a buying side or the list side, somewhat irrelevant to me. I just think as a group, when I went to do the videos in which we wanted to use photos of our agents and their clients after closing a deal, it was extremely hard to find. Much harder than it should have been, considering how great our agents are, how many deals we're doing, how busy they are, and how much work they're putting in. And so what it just really hit home for me is we're doing the hard part. We're doing the work. We're getting the listings. We're closing the deals. We're helping our buyers. We're winning. Yet we're not documenting that win really well at all. I don't just mean the photo at the closing table, right? And I think for some of you, maybe you're not doing it possibly because the client didn't want to do it, or you feel like it's cliche or whatever you want to say. However, the reality is that picture is more important than what you're leading it to be. And so I think that was kind of the point, is just some small things, easy things, free things that every agent could be doing and that they should be doing when you have a transaction, right? Or when you're working on a deal. Because those things, documenting those things, telling that story are super, super important.
Well, let's make sure everybody gets connected to this message for a second, because this is also what we're going to talk about this morning is something you can do on your journey to get a transaction too. So it doesn't mean you need one. It means you're going to document your journey towards getting one, which is almost as important. I think and a lot of times it's more important, because I think you're going to get a lot of more for people following the journey. So let's talk about documentation for a second, Mike, because I think that's one of the most underutilized issues at the moment. That's so easy. It's totally free. And it's probably the most powerful thing we can do. So let's just talk about different versions. You start, and then we'll kind of throw some ideas in. And I want to get some group talk with you guys after we chat for a little bit. Give us some ideas that you think might be cool content from your perspective that your audience or an audience might want to see. So let's kind of get the foundation put down there, Puma. Let's have you start.
Yeah, I mean, I think number one is, in your head, you've got to get out this mindset of creating versus documenting. There are some of you sitting on this webinar that are going to watch this later that are just naturally creative people, right? I happen to be one of them, so I like to create things. My mind is constantly going in that way. There's a lot of you watching that are not, and you're sitting back on, nope, I rely on you for that, and that's perfectly okay too. But that's where documenting comes in, because documenting is something that anyone can do, and it's super powerful. People are not doing business with you because of what you do. They're doing business with you because of why you do it, right? They want
and who
to
you
know
are.
your story. Yeah, they want to know you, and they want to know your story. And when you tell them that and give them that in really subtle ways, just by documenting what you're doing on a daily basis, it literally could be. And for those who, I've mentioned him before, for those of you not following him, go follow Jared Dunn, who's one of our BE3 agents. I don't think he's on this morning, but Jared is doing a fantastic job of this, right? And so he's just one example. Lauren does a pretty good job of this, but Jared just sticks out in my head because I followed some of his stuff recently, and literally one of his last photos was 5 contracts sitting on a desk that he took and said, "Fun night reviewing contracts," right? Documentation. That photo took 32 seconds to take. I don't even think his face was in it, right? So we don't have to worry about how we look or the filter or anything else. So he took all that out of the equation. But he's documenting what he's doing. Now, does his audience care that he's up at late at night reviewing contracts? Not necessarily. Is it sitting in their head, though, that next time they think about doing a deal, what's that first visual that's going to pop into their head? And visual for me is a big one because a lot of you will write a post. That's great, right? But the reality is most people, most of your sphere, that's not going to stick in their head. They're not going to remember that. How many of you have met someone, forgotten their name, but you'll remember their face? Now let's think about the other way. How many of you have forgotten a face, but remember the name? Probably not many. We're visual people. We remember faces. We remember things we look at. So you have to have imagery, use photos, use video, use pictures, right? Instead of just writing I see this all the time, and I'm going to give you an example here in a few minutes, show you what I would do in this scenario. But I see a lot of you, you'll just post a real satisfied review. Okay, that's better than nothing, but that's not the best option, right? And so there's things we can be doing to amplify the work and the effort that you guys are already putting in. And that's really what we want to get across with documentation. It literally starts with this device right here. And all of you have one. It's on you all the time because you're an agent and it has to be, and it rings 24/7. And right, especially right now, you've got to have this on you. This is the only tool you need. You don't need a fancy video editor. You don't need a Jonathan running around with you. You don't need any of that. You need this right here. And this will take pictures and video in super high quality. And this is all you need if you use it. So that's what I want to get across today.
Well, let's go back down. Let's rewind to the fundamental part for just a second, because I think it's important as a reminder that a lot of times we don't post because we don't want to, or there's a drunk monkey about posting, right? And you, in your mind, you're like, God, I don't want to aggravate my friend. They know I'm in real estate. Why am I telling them again? They probably don't care. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be like an oil salesperson, essential oils. No offense to anybody, but you don't want to feel like you're trying to get everybody to buy stuff from you. I hear all the objections and I get them and they're valid, but you've got to overcome this, right? Because the whole game here is to become top of mind awareness, right? It's top of mind. It's owning the mind share is the whole name of the game. Because the reality is every single person you ever meet is a customer. Every single one of us is going to move again. Every single one of our friends is going to move again. Every single one of everyone's moving. It's just every 7 to 9 years on average, but everyone's moving. And there's a lot of people around. So all we're trying to do is become top of mind trigger when somebody wants to do something, where they're at their kid's t-ball game, or they're at a cocktail party, or they're at Starbucks and somebody mentions real estate, they want your face to pop up. That's the whole name of the game. And here's the reality, and this is the hard one to swallow. Everything you post, let me back up. You as an individual person, 50% of the people like you, 50% of the people don't like you. Fact, right? Is what it is. Embrace it. Love it, enjoy it, just cherish it, guys. And you're going to have haters that are following you. Great, right? You're going to find people who love you following you. Great. It doesn't matter. At the end of the game, you're trying to get 1 or 2 people to transact with you extra a month, right? Or 1 or 2 a month, or 1 or 2 extra if you're on the next level game into the next point. So let's just acknowledge it. Be you, because the people who love you, they love you. They don't like a BS polished version that's staged of you posed. That's not you, right? They want to see you. Like, I'm stressed out. I got 3 offers going. My buyers are, stressed out. What are we doing? Here's what we did to try to win this contract. I mean, be real. Now, here I am, jacked up on coffee and energy drinks. I'm tired as hell. I've shown 27 houses. This is the 4th one. We've lost out. Here's what we're doing to make sure we don't lose out on this one. And just documentation, the good, the bad, the ugly. And your core tribe will follow you and love you and referred business to you in more plentiful and abundance than you could ever possibly want. Right? That's what I want to make sure that we get. And so forget anybody who doesn't like what you're doing. They are irrelevant. They don't matter. You're just talking to the people that love you, and you need one or two to do something top of mind to think about you guys. So please embrace this, because it's reality. If you don't think I'm right, look at the elections. Look at everything. For every person who does everything, half of the people love it, half of the people think it's stupid. It's just the way it is. So just do you, be you, and forget about everybody else. I really want to put that point out there, because that's, I think, the biggest stumbling block.
And it's a valid. I do believe that one of the top reasons most of you are not posting consistently is because you do, especially real estate wise, you feel like it comes across as salesy. And you're right. If the only time you're posting stuff is when you're trying to get some business, or when you're trying to talk about when you sold something, which is why this theory, this concept, I should say, of documenting along the way, guess what? It takes away all the salesy. Because if you are just sitting there saying, today sucked, we went to 27 houses, we found the one that we wanted, and we lost it. The end, right? And then the next day is great news. After a 3-month search and continuously strategizing and putting it together, we finally got them the dream house. Or maybe it's 60 days from now or 90 days from now. But guess what? If you've taken people in your sphere on this journey, they're actually going to be excited when you make that post about the just sold. And it's not going to come across as salesy. It's going to come across as a storybook ending, because you told the story, right? This would be, for most of you, it's like opening up a book and just flipping right to the end. And then, hey, here's the end, right? What happened to the rest of the story? That would suck. If you just turned on a movie and just watched the last 2 minutes of it, would you actually enjoy the movie? Right? And that's what's happening. There's a reason that a movie starts. Think about any movie that you like. I don't care what type of movie it is. It all takes the same journey. Starts off, then there's some pitfalls, and then there's an ending, right? It doesn't ever just go from beginning and that's it. Right? Because the middle matters. The middle is where all the value is. It's where the attention is. So that's the whole point. All we want to do is take people along, and just get pulled over.
Oh, did I say a word out there? No, actually, there was a turtle, and I'm making sure he's okay in the background. He's good. He's made it. This would
have been the greatest Zoom meeting of all time if all you have done you.
And you guys gonna go live and watch my NLP action to try to talk my way out of a ticket?
All right, Jeff's gonna tell the story of him getting pulled over right now.
But to this point, though, talk about this for a second, because what I think would have amazing value right now is truly the setup. Now, to talk about a movie and a story, right? You know the main characters. They have to personify them. You have to talk about them a little bit. What if you said, I'm working with the Johnsons. What a cool family. They got the cutest little kids. She's a nurse. He's an accountant. They really want to live in the Palm Oak subdivision. And we're having a tough time because the inventory is crazy. So we've narrowed it down to these 3 streets. Today I'm going to door knock on 8 houses that fit their needs, because I really want them to be in the school district. They love the playground right next door. And so a lot of people think what I do is glamorous. It's hot as hell. And I'm going to be beating down doors today, because I want to find out who's thinking. Now I have some technology at my hands to find out who's most likely to sell next. So I'm going to use some of my strategies, and I'm really going to go door knocking and see what I can find out. So I know some of you asked what it's like being a real estate agent. It's not glitz and glamours and cocktail parties and awards all the time. This is how the sausage is made. So I'm going to go out beating down some doors today, and I'll let you guys know. Here I go. Wish me luck. Bye. That would get tremendous interest, or not, right? Half the people are like, well, that's stupid. Half of the people say, oh, that's kind of cool. But you're going to build a cheerleading for it. It's like your own HGTV, and it's real, because you're talking about how you care about the people. Because I know, guys, you love your clients. They love you, and you put your heart and soul and energy and mind and everything you have into them. Talk about it, right? Don't just show a pretty video of the view of when you're doing a showing. Tell the story. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? What's the lifestyle you're trying to fit? Aren't we pretty much matchmakers? with lifestyles and homes, and what fits their lifestyles, and where are the schools, and where are the bars, and where are the activities, why do they choose this area. And it's a struggle with inventory. So we can have so much fun. I think we're totally missing the opportunity, which is why we're doing this morning, to get you to take advantage of your audience and blow up the Instagram and the Facebook and even the LinkedIn, even your TikTok. Have some fun with this stuff and just get your face out there to start telling some stories.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing to keep in mind too is to touch on people thinking 50% of the people thinking that what you're saying is stupid. That applies more to when you are doing broad or paid distribution, right? Because when I'm running an ad, that is 100% case, right? And so as someone who's spent upwards of $50,000 to $60,000 a month on Facebook ads before for other products and services, you're going to naturally put an ad in front of people, and you're going to get rude comments. You're going to get people who think it's stupid or whatever the case is, and they share those sentiments with. That can be hard for some people to deal with. Here's the reality of what you guys are doing. You're posting this for the most part on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Guess what the commonality is of all these social networks? They're your sphere. And guess how the algorithm works on that platforms? That algorithm is only showing it to people who have engaged or have led the algorithm to believe that they will care about that piece of content or the topic or what you're talking about. So the likelihood of you getting negative feedback, negative comments, or it being put in front of someone who truly does not care or does not want to see what you've posted is nearly zero, because you're only posting it on those platforms, right? And so those platforms are designed to only show you content that you will likely care and or continue to scroll past. Okay. So you're not going to get this big scary feedback. You're not going to get people who hate what you're posting about. It's not going to happen. So relax and just push stuff out. Now, when it comes to getting towards the end, this is the part that bothered me the most when I was trying to make those videos, which, by the way, I offered to make those videos for our agents, and two reached out, which I made the videos for them, of only them and their clients. 2 out of you guys. So I just want to point that out there. But either way, I digress. The ending matters as well. You've put in the work. Now, once we get to that finish line, we have a closing, we have a transaction, we've won. Now it's time to leverage that for all it's worth, right? And what I see so often is either nothing. We take one photo with a client at the closing table and we post it. We maybe make a just sold post, and then that's it. We move on. We're done. Why would we not leverage that in every way possible? So I'm going to share my screen just for a second here, just to give you an idea of something. Let's see. Come on. So I'm not an agent, obviously, so I don't have any real testimonials, but I am copied on each office's email list. And one thing Deb does really well is she's constantly sending out emails when her agents get really good reviews. So here's a real satisfied review for Dick Wilson, right? So here's what I would do. Many of you have these. If I was Dick Wilson, I would not just post this review here, right? A lot of you screenshot this or you'll copy and paste this text. I copy this text
I think you froze up or I'm frozen. Hey, Puma, you froze up. And this is what a frozen Puma looks like right there. So it's all about the anticipation, right? He's the master of the story. So we'll see when he gets back in. So I'm sure he'll pop back in just a moment. Guys, this is a lot of fun. And really take advantage of this market is awesome, as crazy as it is. All right, we're just gonna yeah, he kicked himself out of the meeting there. So I think he's logging back in right now to share his screen. While he's logging, I was thinking about this morning, and I was driving down. Oh, you're back? Yeah, kick yourself out on that one. I go back to the screen share.
Weird. All right. All right, can you see the screen?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. Sorry about that. Search testimonial in your templates, and all of these are testimonial themes. Okay, so now all I'd have to do is pick one, and I can easily customize it. So let's just
we lost the very beginning back up, so you're in Canva, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't know where I cut out at. So I would
right
take
when
the
you started sharing your screen. Yeah.
Okay, so I would take the Real Satisfied review. So what I was saying is I get copied. I'm not an agent, so I don't have any of these, but a lot of you do. So, but Deb sends out the good ones for her agents. So I'm just using Dick Wilson's, right? So Dick got this great review here. So if I was Dick Wilson, then I would take this review. I would copy and paste that real testimonial. I wouldn't just, use a screenshot of this, which is what a lot of you do. I would come into Canva, click Instagram or Facebook posts of the same size, so it doesn't matter. Once I'm in the canvas here, I can use the templates and just search testimonial, and it will give me testimonial-based templates that I can pick from. Right now, I can create a nice visual around this testimonial, which is awesome. Now, ideally, Dick taken a closing photo of him and this client. And so he would have that and he can upload that and use that. So let's just pick one of these. Let's just pick, we'll just pick this one. So now that I have this template, right, I can come copy and paste that review that Dick got. Boom. I don't need this little leaf thing because that's not our logo. And I don't need this, but maybe I want to add in the brokerage logo. So I'll just come to my logos, and we've done Canva classes before. So if you're not familiar with Canva, go back, watch some of the Canva on the morning training marketing Mondays. We've done it, just search Canva. And now I can change this background color too. So maybe I want this to be the dark gray. And maybe I want to change this to another happy and I can resize this. And change the color of that. And then what I would do here is where that closing photo would be. So obviously I don't have any photos. Dick Wilson and any of his clients on here, but we'll just search just to show you kind of what this would look like. And I could bring this over and drag it to where I want it, and boom. Now, maybe I want to change this to the right color. Okay, so within a couple minutes, we could take a boring testimonial and turn it into a beautiful visual that now I can go leverage. Now, let's talk distribution for a second. When I download and save this, what most of you will do is upload this to the platform of your choice. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. The answer is yes, yes, and yes. All three. Post it to all three. Okay. Now, when I post, my suggestion is post this with the story of that transaction. What happened? The good, the bad, the ugly. This is like a story here. We've got our visual, and now our copy, where we're writing the post, is where we're going to tell the story. Okay. Now, what I will also do is go into Business Builder. And my email drip campaign for that week, that month, however often you do it as an agent, would be to my entire database saying, yep, had another happy customer. This made me think of all of you. Let's just say it's my past clients. This made me all my clients and how honored I am to be your agent. If I can help any of you in any way, please let me know. Boom. Now I've emailed this out. I have taken this and used it on all my social channels. So now from a distribution perspective, I'm really getting somewhere, right? I'm actually use this and really make it valuable long-term in my business, not just using it and forgetting it, right? Or using it and making one post. And that's kind of the point, is there's just so many subtle ways, and this is 100% free. Stop sharing my screen here. It's 100% free. So I don't know. For me, if you've gone through the work of putting in all the time and effort to get that transaction to the finish line, and we all know how challenging it is, especially right now, to get through and get to the closing table and get a deal closed. Why would you not leverage that for all it's worth? Right. And I just think it's super powerful. And then if I had specific people in my database that I thought this story would resonate well with, the clients were similar to in either background, age, anything like that, then I'm grabbing my phone and I'm going to each of those and I'm literally messaging them one-on-one with that testimonial saying, hey, this client made me think of you. They're actually in a really similar spot. And this is how I was able to help them. Tell the story. So I just want to make sure we get that across. This is super simple and super easy to do.
Now, one of the things I just saw one of the chats about boosting, which made me think about this for a second. What you want to do is think about how can you leverage this to where you want it to be. I was thinking this morning, I'm walking into the office at the moment. So I was thinking this morning about top of mind and how some people don't want to be too pushy. And I was watching something this morning. Morgan and Morgan came on. Bus drives by, Morgan and Morgan's on it, right? I see a feed, Morgan and Morgan. See all this stuff. I'm like, how many times does Morgan and Morgan worry about being intrusive and getting their messaging across? And then I saw somebody posted they were actually in Nashville and said, oh my God, he's here too. It's about everywhere. So think about that for a second. That is so not us, because there's no way we can be that broad, and there's no reason we need to. Like, how relevant do you want to be in Jacksonville, Florida? Like, really? At all? No.
Well, here's the thing, though.
If you work Apollo Beach, you want to be in Brandon.
Well, here's an interesting thought, though. Because I worked with Morgan and Morgan on the Pound Law early on in there. And so for those of you that don't know, my dad actually created that service that gives him the Pound Law capability, right? So I was involved in that deal early on, and they were the first client that used one of those abbreviated dialing things. And at that time, they were only in, this is way back years when they were only in really Tampa, Orlando, and most of Florida. And at that time, they wanted the code nationally. Why? Because he was running ads in Georgia, Tennessee, and a couple other states that he didn't have offices in, but he believed that if he could control the business, he literally set up a call center, which is why he wanted the number. He was running ads, out advertising, out branding every other attorney that actually did live in the market, would drive the lead and refer it out to them at a referral fee. Right? Yep. So let's think about this with our agent hat on. Do you want to be known in Jacksonville? If I'm you, am I spending all my time doing that? No. Do I think that there is value in limiting yourself? No, I don't. I think if you take his mindset of, if I control the lead flow, if I control the branding, I control everything, because it was a smart thing. What they were really doing was saying, okay, we're going to go test the market. I'm going to advertise. And once I get the lead flow to a point where I know it can stay in our own office, I'll just open my own, which is what they did. And he did this state by state by state. And guess who's the largest personal injury law firm in the world now, right? Years later, Morgan & Morgan. So the method to his madness worked. Now, was he spending an exorbitant amount of money? Absolutely. Right? Deep pockets, and he was willing to take the risk and spend the money. But the point being is the thought process was there. His thought process was, I don't want to do Tampa and Orlando. His thought process is, when someone is in an accident and needs an attorney, I want them to think of us no matter where in the world they live. If I do not work there, I will refer it out. Sound familiar? Right? So you have, because of Facebook, because of Instagram, because of TikTok, most of you are not born and raised in Tampa or Orlando, Florida. You're just not. Most of you are not from here. So that means that you have large segments of your sphere and large segments of their sphere that live elsewhere in the country. So a lot of you are like, well, I'm not from here, so I don't want to make that post because my family's all from Colorado. Okay, then don't make the post. What I think is the Morgan & Morgan mindset would be, no, I'm going to own Colorado from Tampa. And when anyone in that area that knows me, thinks of me, they're going to call me to find out who should use. And I'm going to get in the middle of that deal, make sure they get taken care of, and take a nice referral fee along the way. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like a much better financial decision for me. Right. So this is where we've got to readjust our mindset. Yeah, I want you guys to own your niche. No question. Right. You should own the market that you've been in. Mike Reichenbach and what him and they have done is amazing. Right. 2 streets. They own those streets like no one's business. That's amazing. Right. And that's how it should be for all of you. However, I think there's a lot of excuses that we make. Oh, I'm not from here. Oh, I don't have a big sphere. Oh, I haven't been on social. Oh, I don't know. No. Those are all excuses. We live in a global economy. We live in a spot where I could make one post and literally have the potential for anyone in the world to see it. Like, that's incredible, guys. I don't think we understand that. Like, 10, 15 years ago, that wasn't possible without spending millions of dollars. You can have that potential now for free, but you're not even taking enough steps to actually just make a piece of content and post it. And I don't know why.
And well, I think a lot of it is it's the doubt, the fear, the anxiety of what's going to happen if I do. Right. I mean, the reality of it is this doesn't change. 27 impressions to get through the clutter that you are actually real. Right. So 27 posts into your sphere is what it's going to take for your sphere to actually recognize you as something serious and get out of the clutter and take you seriously. That's just the beginning. That's just to break through the clutter to be considered. And then consistency is going to keep you top of mind, right? So it's a strategy, it's work, it's repetition, guys. Everybody is a computer, everybody is a dog from Pavlovian style. You've got to condition people to think about you. That's it. So one post does not do it. Two posts doesn't do it. It's 27 impressions to even break through the clutter. And that's just to be considered. And then your daily post and then your daily content is what's going to actually do it. If you're not doing that, guys, you have 0% chance of making it happen. If you're not posting, then this is not your pillar, right? And that's fine, right? But to not take advantage of the free pillar that has worldwide reach for free is really doesn't make a lot of sense from as your business partners talking to you on this one. So that's why we're putting so much emphasis on this here today, and just put it out, right? Put the daily post out. Sometimes they resonate, sometimes they don't, but they're there every day. Sometimes some people will connect with one, other people will ignore one. Other people will connect with something you didn't think they'd connect with. It's funny, right? But it doesn't matter. It's just, or you don't like the post that we're putting out, put out your own. Do something every single day to make it work.
Yeah, I've seen Susie do it really well. She'll take a lot of the daily stuff that I push out, and now she's a very creative person, but she'll sit there and make her own version of it. Great. That's the whole purpose of this. The whole purpose of that content is just to help inspire you, right, to take action. So whether you're using ours because it's just easier, great, use ours. You don't want to use ours, let it inspire you. You think it's completely stupid, don't post it, but go post something else then, right? That's Jeff's point. But Susie has done a great job of that. If you want to check her stuff out, a lot of times she'll just take our post, she'll go make her own version of it. Cool. That's great. Then she's just leveraging the idea. She's letting, flow her creativity, and then she goes and does her own thing. That's awesome. Do it. Right. But take action. And then my biggest thing too with the content is those of you that are taking the time to create the content or taking the time to use the daily posts. We call the daily post because that is primarily the purpose, right? Is to post it on your social, but you can go so much further if you actually want to leverage it, right? If you actually wanted to take the time to take that post and push out via email. And now all of a sudden we've got email and we've got social. And then if I want to take the time to download that to my phone and text it to anyone in my sphere, because again, we have to think back to our sphere. If Craig is part of my sphere and Jeff is part of my sphere, I'm going to communicate with both of them in two completely different ways, right? Because I know that Jeff, the best way, if I want Jeff to see it, the best way for me to have him see it is to text him, right? Best way. Craig, that's not the best way. Best way to reach Craig is going to be email or for me to call him, right? And so I know that. Now, maybe it doesn't make sense for me to call him every day, but does it make sense for me to shoot him this via email if I think the post is engaging or funny or going to bring him value in any way, or if I have a story to tell? So we have to communicate to our sphere across every tool possible. Email's a tool, use it. Facebook's a tool, use it. LinkedIn's a tool, use it. Instagram's a tool, use it. Text is a tool, use it. Messenger, direct messaging on all those platforms is a tool, use it. So if I really, really wanted to make each piece of content have a lot of legs and as many people as possible, I'm going to take that one piece of content and I'm going to use it across every single one of those verticals every single day. And think about the number of people that you would be creating brand with. Now, that may not result in anything today or tomorrow, but over time, if you're doing it every day, it absolutely will.
So let's talk about simple steps we can take right now. So think about your day-to-day. Every one of you is doing some real estate activity today, right? You're doing one of them right now. You're getting better. You're learning your craft. You're getting sharper, right? So what could you talk about today, right? Without planning, without hesitation, without production. If you have a showing today, what would you say, Puma? What could you do? If I'm going to show the Johansons around 3 properties today at 11 o'clock, what should I do from a documentation standpoint to help leverage this? Give me some ideas.
So for me, I would tell this of how I got to the showing, right? What my process was that I got them. Now, the key to this, I'm going to show them around, but let me tell you how I got the Johnsons here, Rick. Number one, I made sure that they were buttoned up. right? I made sure that we know what area. I took them on Zoom, took them through all the area, narrowed it down. And now, instead of me showing them 7 homes today, we're only going to go look at 3 because we've narrowed it down. These are the 3 they want, and I've got them ready to pounce. So if you are even remotely thinking about looking at a house, please follow what we did with the Johnsons. Don't just go look around because it likely won't be there. And if you're not ready, you're not going to win. If you want a strategy, call me. We're going to make this happen for them, and I can make it happen for you too. That's just a simple post to tell the story, the process, right? We took a simple act of a showing and turned it into a quick little story of why and how we got there and why the process was so important of getting there, right? Because the showing is just an activity. It's not the story.
And very importantly, it's the backstory to the story. Like, I mean, you probably showed them. Hopefully you've shown them 30 houses already via Zoom, right? And This is the 31st home we've looked at, and we're going to look at 3 today, but we've looked at all of them, all virtually. This is how we've done it. And then I could not let them, I really believe house number 2 is the one they're going to like. We'll see if I'm right, but there's 0% chance they'd be able to pounce on house number 2 if I hadn't done the steps to get them ready to pounce. Now, I use that term. Let me tell you what that means. Right now, they're working with a lender named Mark, and I know Mark, right? And he and I Zoomed with the clients, and we were talking about the loan programs and the strategies and the down payments. They're actually getting some gift money, and how is that going to work, and what loan programs work for them. And I got Mark to write a letter to me, and then he's on standby for me to text him to fill in the address. And it says, hey, I'm Mark. I'm the loan officer for the Johnsons. They're ready to buy 123 Annie Street. I put them through underwriting. I have their pay stubs, their tax returns. They're golden. They're amazing. What a lovely couple. And I hope you choose their offer. Love, Mark. Right? These are the things that I've done in addition to making sure that the contract's written perfectly, which are the tools to my trade, which I'm really good at. We have an escalation clauses. We have everything in place to make sure that when they get the house, we're going to get it. So we'll see if it's house number 1, house number 2, house number 3. Keep you guys posted. Have a good day. Boom. Right? It's the backstory to the story that gets people thinking.
Is that more powerful than just saying showing 3 homes today, busy day with a picture of a coffee? Because that's what most of you do, right? Now, I want to back up that, hey, showing 3 homes today, picture of a coffee is better than doing nothing.
That's right.
So there's different levels. So depending on where you are, I don't want to dismiss that because you're doing something. The point is, if you're doing the work, you're doing showings, you're making the post, why not make the post have as much value as possible? Now, maybe you don't feel as comfortable getting on video. Great, write it in the copy. Okay, whatever it is for you to do it, do it. But I think the other side of that is, if that's just not you and you don't feel comfortable yet doing that type of post, then maybe it's engaging your audience and saying, hey, these are 3 homes that I'm going to show today. Which one would you pick? Engage them.
And why?
Ask the question. Get them to tell you why, right? Because what are we doing with that type of post? Well, that type of post is now getting your sphere to sit back and go, oh man, those are pretty. I would take house number 2, right? And when they tell you that and they say why, oh, it's got a great pool. Now, guess what they're telling me? They like what style of home they like, right? And that they like a pool. Do they not have a pool? So now I message them and say, hey, I like number 2 too. I hope that's the one they pick. Oh man, do you not have a pool at your current house? Is that like the one big thing that's missing? Start a conversation.
How about what do you think the price of this home is? Quick question for you guys. In this crazy marketplace, what do you think this house costs per month to own? Right?
Payment. I was going to say, ask about the payment, not even the price, right? Or ask payment, guess payment and price. Like, have fun with it, right? So if you're not going to tell the story, or do both, right? Like what I would do is the first post is going to be, hey, showing these 3 homes, documenting the story behind the story, the process. Then later in the day, after we looked at those 3 homes, then I'm going to make a post and say, hey, just got done with 3 homes. My clients picked one. Which one would you pick? Right? And why? And what do you think the price and first payment would be? Post it out there. Get engagement.
It's
right?
continuing the story.
Ideas, things. Yeah. And it's leveraging one activity that you were already doing. Whether you post about it or not, you're showing 3 homes today. So if we're doing the work, why would we not leverage it to get as much value out of it as possible?
And
Because
then
if
go
we
through,
do this
okay,
consistently, it will lead to more business.
and then say, all right, guys, we picked house number 2. Let me tell you a couple things I'm doing to put into this offer to make sure that they get it, because this is a crazy ass market. And many times being 95% perfect would work, but out of this market, we got to be spot on and on point. Here's what I'm doing to make sure this offer comes out the best. Let's talk about deposits. Some people put a $500 deposit down. It's all psychological. It doesn't really matter. It could be 5 million or $500. Doesn't matter. But if you were a seller and you had 2 identical offers and one had $500 in escrow and one had $5,000 in escrow, what would you think would be more serious, right? So that's one of the things that I'm doing. Let's talk about financing. Normally there's a blank that says there's a 30-day loan approval period. Most people don't even think what that is. That just means, hey, let me try to figure it out in a month. If I can, great. If not, no big deal, I'm out. Why would a seller take that? They wouldn't. So here's what I do in my offers. I'll let you know. Keep your fingers crossed for the Johnsons. Bye. Right? That's the continuation of that story. And if 30 people watch it out of your 2,000 friends and followers, great. Right? If one person likes that and says, this is really cool, I'm really learned a lot by watching your video, score, top of mind, you won. That's the game, guys. And it's cost you zero, nothing. You're doing it anyway. Have some fun. Your phone's sitting in front of you. Just hit the little button, record it, and then post it. I love this, guys. It's so much fun. It's a crazy market. Now let's talk about listings for a second. What if you said, I've got a presentation I'm going to talk to people today. They're thinking about selling their house. It might surprise you, but one of the first things I do is say, why would you sell this? This is a beautiful house. It's the best investment you've ever had. Is there any way you can keep this and not sell it? And here's the reason I watch this, because long-term appreciation in real estate's amazing. It truly is the best investment, unless you have a better use for the money. So this particular home, when I do my pre-qualification script, I found out that they actually are going to be moving, and they do want to take this equity with them. So it's my job to get them the most humanly possible in this market. Now, it used to be price per square foot and all those kind of comps. Today, it's really about we're pricing to market, not appraisers. And what does that mean, right? We're pricing to see what is somebody willing to pay. What did somebody pay down the street? And maybe we can actually push it a little bit just to see what's going on, because it's supply and demand. This is a 4.3. How many 4.3s are on the market right now? 0. So if somebody wants a 4.3, guess what? They're probably going to pounce all over this one. So we're going to try to do this whole thing, and I'll let you know kind of how this goes. But I just want to give you guys a glimpse on how I'm pricing properties right now. Bye. Right? Take a minute, right, before you actually start your spa and talk about what you're actually doing. And then when you actually list it, say, I just left the Johnson's house. This thing's amazing, right? And then it actually lets you start doing the presentation and start to actually talk about your listings. I have a little picture. I got a 3-2 with a pool. How do I actually price it? You'll be amazed at how many people will engage with that. And then it's fun, guys. But make this a sport. Make it fun. Post out something. Get some engagement. Cost you nothing. And then you're going to an extra deal or 2 a month. And that's worth real money. There's $10,000-$20,000 a month, guys, that it's going to come to you just from doing simple things.
Yeah.
So how do you get started?
I want to address Claire's thing real quick before we wrap up. So she put, if boosted posts show up in news feeds, does it matter that they are not, doesn't matter they're not Facebook ads, right? I'm just in the process of getting people to like and follow my page. Okay, so here's the thing with boosted posts. Boosted posts are not targeted the same way. The algorithm is not the same. It is not nearly as effective. You're going to get a bunch of random people. I would never run ads strictly to get people to like and follow the page, because you're going to get people who are likely to click on it to like pages because they've shown that in their history, but that doesn't mean anything. And so the real question for me is, why are you trying to get them to like your page? What are you going to do with that? Even if you do, let's say you grow it to 10,000 people, you're still only going to get a 10% engagement level. And that's if you're really good. So let's say you get 10,000. Okay, great. Then 1,000 of those people are ever going to see what you're actually posting for free anyways. And so what ends up happening is you get in this perpetual cycle where you have no choice but to spend money, right? Now, if you were selling a product like a $20 widget, that's right. Yes, I have a business that does that. So does Jeff. Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads. Those are super, super effective. When you are selling a service like we are, that's high dollar, that's very specific, it's a long process, it is not in your best interest to use that type of tool in that way, in my opinion. Right now, there are other people that may love boosted posts. I am not one of them. I think also just because the algorithm is separated from actual fake ads, what really doing is kind of tricking you into thinking that you're running a Facebook ad when you're really not. It's just an easy way for them to generate revenue, because the thought of running an actual ad is a little overwhelming for most people, right? For you, it's really not. If you really want to run Facebook ads, go use Social Ad Engine. It simplifies the process. But all of that being said, as much as I love Social Ad Engine, and I think there's uses for it at the agent level, I also think that unless you have a significant follow-up plan, or you're willing to pay a VA or someone else to follow up those leads, in my opinion, it's pointless, because you remember it's all based on volume. You have got to drive a significant amount of leads in order to get enough where you're going to convert, right? Less than 4%, and in most cases, less than 2% of those leads are actually going to convert into anything, which means in order for me to get my payback, I've got to drive a decent volume, which means I've got to follow up. So let's just say I drove 100 leads. Well, now I've got to call on average 7 to 8 times before I get that lead to even say yes or no. That's 700 to 800 phone calls. Are you going to make 700 to 800 phone calls? Probably not. And so, for being honest with each other, then that means that that's not the best strategy. So I just want us to really think about it. Now, if you say, hey, I'm running a team, I've got a VA, I'm willing to pay someone, that's a different conversation. And if that's the case, you really should set up time with me one-on-one so we can chat about that and build out a proper funnel for you to drive the leads and all of that. To run a boosted post simply to get page likes is not a good strategy. And there's a million reasons why, which I'm happy to dive into offline, but that's just it's not going to work the way that you want, and it's not going to play out and provide any sort of return. The best way for you to get true engagement on your page is to consistently post engaging content, share that content to your personal side, because that's where you have the most engagement, and go share that content into all relevant groups and go and engage in the groups on a regular basis. That will gain you attention, that will gain you followers, that will gain you interest, and that is true organic interest, that people that will actually care about what you're posting about, instead of just people who are just clicking to click, right? So to me, that's how you have to play that game.
Let me put an exclamation point on one of the things you just said right here, because I think that this quickest takeaway with the biggest bang for your buck and your time right now is the groups, right? Is focusing in on the groups. Because let's say I wanted to get more business in Palma Seca, Bayshore Beautiful, Champions Gate, Clearwater Beach, Longboat Key, wherever it is, right? Doesn't matter. Fishhawk, right? Apollo Beach, Roscoe, it doesn't matter the area, West Chase. So, but there is a group, there are multiple community groups that are in there. So if I'm going to get a listing in West Chase, or I'm showing properties in West Chase, whatever it may be, I'm going to produce content, and I'm going to make it very specific about how I'm pricing properties in West Chase, right? And I could put that little video and I could share that into the group, right? And it's a little video and it's super contextual, because I don't care to share it in Oldsmar. I don't care to share that in Orlando. I want to share that into the West Chase group, the Bayshore Beautiful group, the Davis Islands group, right? Just that. And now it's relevant. Say, guys, look, you guys know how crazy this market is. There's so few of this, that, and the others. And this is why this one's unique. And this is why I'm trying to price it. And just want to kind of let you guys see the internal process on what's going on in this crazy market. One just sold down the street and it was for $800 a foot. And that's off the charts crazy, but is it really? Because the buyers are coming. You could just be you, right? But be super contextual to that group. And then when you share it into the group, the admins are going to let it in because it's contextual. It's not, hey, you want to sell your house? I'm Jeff, right? It's, hey, how I'm strategically pricing properties in Davis Islands, right? That's the contextual thing that's going to get you right in there. You're going to get the views. You're going to get the top of mind. People are going to like you or they're not. In either way, we're looking to separate the herd, find the people that actually like you, and actually just grow that sphere. So think about your presentations today, the showings you have today, the listing presentations you're working on today. Where are those? What are you part of that group? If you're not, go join that group right now, contribute to that group, post, be visible, and then share your content into there. You're going to be amazed at how quickly you can become the mayor of that area, and just by contributing and bringing in. So that's a simple way that we can start today.
And with the groups, make sure you're going in and engaging, not just posting your own content. Go in and engage, comment, answer questions, bring value to the group. I use this example all the time, but guys, I am not a licensed agent. We have over 400 agents on our team. Workplace, Century 21 on Workplace, right? A few times, usually once or twice a month, but definitely 10 to 12 times a year, I get tagged by other agents tagging me in a referral deal of when anyone is searching for an agent to work to send a referral in Tampa Bay, because they know me because of my engagement and activity on Workplace. Not anything else. I'm not even an agent. We have 400 agents. Should I be the one getting tagged? Absolutely not. Why am I? Because I'm engaging. So the second that something happens in Tampa, because I brought value to enough people on there, I'm the first person they're thinking about, and they tag me because they believe that I can help, in which case we just refer that to an agent here, right? Which we've done several times. But the point of it is, I shouldn't even be the one getting tagged, but that's how groups work. The person that is bringing the most value and consistency on a daily basis will win. I'm winning on there only because I am bringing consistent value, and I'm not asking for anything in return. I'm going in and answering questions. I'm posting contextual content. I'm letting them share it. I'm giving them as much value as possible on a daily basis so that when that opportunity comes about, I'm the person they think about. And it works. And it will work the same way in these groups. It'll work the same way in your sphere, because guess what? All of sphere, and there's multiple agents that are in connection with those people, right? It's just, this is Florida. Practically everyone's an agent. And so there's multiple agents in there, but the person that is bringing the most value and showing the most expertise will win.
That's right. One last thought that you just made me think about here that we haven't leveraged as much as we should. In Century 21, guys, we're in 86 countries around the world, 120 something thousand salespeople. We've got a hell of a team, right? So where do people move here from? Right? You could look, if you really want to know, go to census.gov, type in your zip code, and it'll tell you exactly where people are moving from. But you know where they are. The top 5 markets that are moving to Tampa Bay, DMA, and Central Florida, including Orlando, is number 1, Canada, number 2, Cuba, number 3, Brazil, number 4, UK, number 5, Germany, right? That's just where people buy internationally into the Central Florida DMA from those 5 places. So if you were to get creative for a second, could you go on to 21 Online, go into awards and rankings, and find out who the top agents are in those areas, and in Toronto and Illinois and Chicago and New York and all the places that come in? Could you shoot them an email and say, hey, if you got people thinking about, obviously our market is very attractive for relo. If you have any clients thinking about moving here, think about me. What can I do to help you? You just sat 20 of those emails out today. Do you think you might get some referral business? Yes. Right. So leverage what we have, leverage the brands, leverage the power of being as international as we are, guys. And that's what we're paying for. 9:30. Time flies when we're having fun. Hopefully you guys got some good takeaways and content on this one. And the best way to find it is we'll be looking in the feeds later, and hopefully we're seeing some of your documentation today. Whatever you're about to do today, document it. Watch what happens. You're going to have fun with this, and you're going to be amazed at the results.
If you need help, guys, reach out. We're here for you.
That's right. Make it the best week ever. Joe